Good morning and welcome to another episode of ZoeTV. And today we are talking with one of your favorites, Milan Manjencich.
Very good. That was good.
Whew.
That was good.
Yeah,
Very
thank
good,
you.
very good.
Okay, game over. No, just kidding. Anyway, we are going to talk with him about what is new on the menu, what's coming up, what he's doing with dining services, because believe me, this all kind of crashed in on him at once. We went from delivery to boom. I mean, you were prepared, but I know that that's still a lot to take on. So welcome, Milan.
Thank you for being here, Milan.
Thank you. Hi. Thank you. What we're doing is we've revamped everything. If you've seen the Towers menus, you know the WAG menu is still there, and we've improved it. We've increased the variety, the options. We think we've made that much better. We've also switched companies, so now we have a company that we have over 6,000 recipes to pull from. We have more trendy food items that we can pull from. Not that Crandall did a bad job. We were just kind of wanting to update our residents with some new options. That being said, we also increased the always available menu. If you look at it now, it's got several items on there that have never been offered before. It's got a wide variety of sides that you can get. And then if you flip it over on the other side, you'll see the Zoe Life and how much we increased that. I think before they had maybe 2-3 options. I think we have 8 or 9 now. And we brought back some of the favorites that people loved, as well as brought in some new ones. And that is a credit to Lish over at Henry's. And that'll take me into another discussion in a moment. At the bistro, you'll notice we've updated all the menus there. Everything's kind of bright and fresh looking. We have a nicer breakfast menu that's being offered at the bistro and has some options. And then we also have a nicer lunch menu. And we had quite a few residents in the last few days stop in and get some items, because there's some different items on there. There's some healthier items on there, and there's some of the old favorites back on there. That being said, we have made the menus now out of what's called a synthetic paper. Bistro menus and the always available and the Zoe menu in Towers are synthetic paper. You'll feel it. It can't be damaged with water, food, grease. You can actually put it under water for several days, pull it out, wipe it off. It's perfect. But what we ask is no one please take any of those menus upstairs to your room or to show a friend. Those are very limited because they're very, very expensive. We have brochures that are by the podium when you come in from the Towers lobby, and then by the bistro exit door. Both of them have the always available and the Zoe menu brochure in the holder. And then if you're at the bistro, we have a holder there with the bistro menu. Now over at Henry's, Lish did an amazing job in redoing the menus. When we decided to reopen, we had just a couple of days' notice that we were going to reopen fully. We had to be able to get the items in from our vendor, and believe it or not, there's not as many items out there that are available as there used to be. As I was telling some residents the other day at the meeting, we ordered chicken one day. Shamrock had 0 chicken, no fresh chicken, no breast, no chicken leg quarters, no chicken legs, no thigh meat, no thighs. The only thing they had was a frozen pre-breaded product, which I won't buy. So we couldn't get chicken. I had to run to another source to get our chicken wholesale. Today we were ordering bagels. They had no bagels in stock. So we had to open up with a limited menu of items that we could get. We knew it was temporary. We knew it might upset some people. But that being said, the new menus are over at Henry's. Today is the first day. So Lish and her crew are working through the new menu. We're not running a special today or tomorrow on Friday because we're trying to push the new menu, and try to get people to try it. Once this weekend is over, we will go back to our regular specials. Lish already has them at the printer, and Media Services is printing up the specials, and the synthetic menus will be done. Currently, we have a soft copy menu at Henry's counter. So those you can take up to your room. You will see eventually the brochure trifold, just like at the Towers and at the Bistro from Henry's, that you can take upstairs. But there's a lot of new Zoe items on there. Lish has been very, very creative. She's added some of the old favorites and added a couple of new ones, as well as Henry's menu. You'll see about 18 items on there now, so it's got some new items. We have people that love the hamburgers and the hot dogs, and because we order a 1/4 pound all beef kosher hot dog, and then we now have the chefs in Henry's hand making all the burgers. Nothing comes in frozen. And we're going to be trying to do that a little bit more with all the product we have over there. It's just with the budget, with time constraints, and with the limited size of the kitchens, not everything is as possible as we would love. A lot of people need to remember these kitchens were built 50 years ago. And mostly they were built small, and some of them were meant just for very simple one-item menus. We've kind of increased it and pushed it to the max. But we hope you enjoy the new menus. Lish has spent a lot of time putting them together. Media has been amazing at getting them laid out, formatted, adding the pictures that marketing is taking, that Steve and other people working with ZoeLife have taken pictures. We've kind of redone the dining rooms as well. If you haven't been over to Towers or Bistro, really should just take a walk through there. The pictures are from Glendale's archives, so it's some of the downtown pictures and some of the old, I'll call it natives that were settling Glendale back at 50 years ago, 70 years ago, 80 years ago. Some of them are from 1905, some 1910. So we tried to incorporate the old with the new. Right. And then if you go over to the AL side, you have some of our people who are going downstairs and enjoying the workouts, the physical aspect of the ZoeLife. You can see it in action, and you can talk to Steve or one of his people over there, and I'm sure they would get you involved in it in a heartbeat.
But what I have enjoyed in watching you create, especially on that AL side, is the environment that we all live in. That these are our people getting better. It's not just photos on the wall of a random person. It is people, your neighbors, that are engaged in the Parkinson's program and the stroke program and the golf programs, the boxing, the swimming. Providence Place, some of the residents over there that are aspiring to do ZoeLife and be better. And I think that when I walk through that environment now with the creation that you did with that on the walls, and then like you said in the bistro side of seeing those old historic photos and the way you position them black and white, and I know your vision for that is going to keep continuing to progress and having some art up there, and I think that's just cool. I just love when restaurants do that.
Oh, I do too.
Thank you. We do encourage the residents, if they have a piece of artwork they'd like hung up, they don't have to have their name on it if they're just a little nervous about comments, but I don't think there's a bad comment. If somebody doesn't like something that's up there, they can bring something and we'll put it up for them. But we like to leave it for a couple weeks. We have one gentleman, I think he said he has 100 pieces of artwork.
Oh, wow.
And what he does is about every 2 weeks he comes down, brings us a new one. We hang it up, give him his old one back. And so we're encouraging people to bring different pieces of artwork up, and we'll hang it, and then you can take it down and bring another one. Let us do that, though, because that way nobody's putting up on a chair or doing something dangerous. The next step is now, we'll start in, I think, possibly 2 weeks, maybe sooner, redoing Henry's outside. We're adding a seating area in the patio. We're going to be pouring concrete, putting lighting, misting fans. We've already got the new tables and chairs and umbrellas picked out. We're going to take the old chairs and tables from the bistro area, put those in different courtyards. And how I'll do that is I'm going to put the 8 numbers in a hat, draw a number out blindly, and that's where one of the tables and chairs will go. So it's going to be a fair process. And then we'll have new tables and chairs at the bistro too, with the umbrellas. So everything will have an umbrella over it so they can sit out there in the summer. They are ones that can crank open easily, and they all tilt. So if the sun's in the way, we can tilt it and kind of keep them a little covered and in a lot cooler space. But I know everybody over at Henry's is really excited about the new patio outside. And And I thank my leadership for having the trust and the foresight that they want to make sure. And the whole goal behind it was to get everyone out of their rooms, out of their casitas, out of their apartments, and get some fresh air. And yes, we know it's going to be warm, but sitting in the shade under an umbrella with a mister, I enjoy the summer that way.
That's right, absolutely. Okay, I'm going to ask you a couple questions on Copper Club scenario. The pub burger in there, it's really good. Have you had it? I mean, it's not Mediterranean, but I've had it. It's unbelievable. Is that the same burger process as you do? I've had this conversation with numerous residents. Is that the same burger as you would get at Henry's, or is the pub burger a special
It's the same burger, different toppings.
Okay.
And it's handmade, hand patty.
I keep talking it up. Not that I'm promoting a meat meal, but
Right.
it's
But
really
once
good.
in a while.
Once in a while.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think it's amazing.
It's a great burger. I'm not a big mushroom person,
Yeah.
but I get it once in a great while just to have it. I love mushrooms on my pizza. But
I tell you, the Copper Club, that atmosphere is really good.
It is wonderful.
I just enjoy going in there the occasional times that we get to slip in there and have
Right.
a meeting or do whatnot. It's a good experience.
and what's great about it is we were talking about coming this year. The one gentleman's got an 89th birthday coming up, and he was wondering what he can do with his family. I said, well, bring him. We'll set you in the Copper Club. We'll get you set up. Now that the restrictions are loosening and we can get a little bit larger group to sit at a couple of tables in there, we would love to do anniversaries, birthday parties, family celebration. It's just been, we've been without it now almost a year.
Yes.
And it's we know how hard it is. And it's hard on us seeing our residents not having the best life they can have.
All right, last real quick question because we're almost out of time. What is changing going forward with the COVID restrictions in the next couple? What do you envision? Any new changes? I know we've gone through a lot in this transition back to yellow.
Nothing right now.
Okay.
We're still doing the safe distancing. We're still doing the mask. We're not wearing it right now because we have some distance between us. But I wear my masks, and yes, they're a little bit cumbersome. But we're just trying to keep everybody still safe so that we keep it at a 0 on campus. And as the restrictions lighten, I know my leadership gives me the information several times a week, and I know they want to get it out to the residents. I wouldn't listen to any kind of secondhand information other than what's distributed by Tommy at HR or by Steve or Kay, because they get fed the information the same as I do from our leadership, and that'll be the most accurate. I know everyone asks about the salad bar and the hot bar. We want to get back to it too. I love a salad bar, and we may try a version of it to where we control what's being gotten. They just kind of point and tell us what they want. So we may try that once a month or once every couple of weeks, because we do know our residents like it. Like I said, our goal is that they live the best life with us.
That's
They deserve it.
Well, on that, I'm hungry.
Yes.
We got one more little sentiment. Then it's time to eat. And maybe that pub burger. Because it is.
Or the
I'm going
salad
to treat
bar.
for meat. That's my guy. It's really good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Milan.
Thank
Awesome to
you.
have you. There's
Yep.
our man.
We.
Randy Lujan, Director of Rehabilitation, Providence Place. You kind of look like Stan. You kind of look like your buddy Jason, but you're
better
your
looking.
own
Better looking is what we were going to say.
This is our guy.
I know.
I love everything that Randy does for this campus in a sense of no matter how dirty it is, no matter how hard it is, he's the first one to jump in that deep end and try to get it right.
Yes.
And we'll kind of navigate this conversation through what you've been through with COVID. But coming out of COVID, that's what I really want to focus on because it's like time to get back to that, the positivity of what you bring to the Providence Place building. So thank you for being here, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So let's start just in a real quick nutshell. Talk to us about 2020, man. What did it feel like in that building?
Oh, it was rough. It was rough, and the thing is, it was rough on our residents there, on our skilled patients. It was really hard because when we got somebody skilled in that was here for therapy, we were very limited. We were doing a lot of in-room treatments, so we had to be really creative with what we were doing. We didn't have the outdoors and the hallways and the therapy gym even to use. We weren't allowed to use any of that. So we had to get really creative. You know, we were carrying our portable wooden staircase up to the floor there and working inside that COVID unit, you know, and it gets tough when you're doing therapy and, you know,
Small
full
space.
garb, you got your whole gown on, your
Right.
masks, you're working in a small room, and it gets tough, and it's tough on them, you know, but we had some very successful people come through there, did very well, you know, and they were very grateful for what we did, and I'm grateful for, you know, the work that the staff put forth, because it
That's right.
was, I asked a lot of them,
Yeah.
and they did it.
Well, going back to COVID for just a second, you were in the fire, obviously.
Yes.
What was the kind of risk management strategies that you helped implement to keep that building, even though we got hit hard,
Yeah.
to stop the bleeding and turn that thing around? What were some of the strategies in
Well,
place?
you know, we had a lot of collaboration there, and a couple of the people that really helped at the beginning collaboration. Unfortunately, they're not with us anymore. You know, they moved on, and they were great, and we all worked together. But we came up with the idea to segregate one of the sides of 1 South. You know, that unit is broken apart. The nurses station sits in the middle, and you have a wing on each side on the north and south sides. So we came up with the idea to completely split that, and we helped design a wall that went up between there that allowed us to still see in there without completely blockading it, so people didn't feel completely confined, right? We had an in and out door. We came up with some methods for entry and exit of that area to keep everybody safe and keep mitigation at its best. Yeah.
And that's all in real time. You're trying to develop
Yes.
this. It's not like we knew it was coming and like, let's make the best practices happen.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
like, we got to go today and create something that's effective
Yes.
and yet not so confining to the resident. And
Absolutely.
I'm sure that was the rub of trying to figure that.
Absolutely. It's
Out.
very challenging, you know, but with all the heads that we had together there and all the ideas that we put together, you know, we were able to come up with, I mean, there was times at the beginning of this, you know, where Christy would call on a Saturday and go, hey, something's going down, and we were all there, you know, we were all there getting it done and coming up with ideas, and, you know, even coming over to Friendship House and helping out a little bit there and kind of giving some ideas and some teaching there as well.
Well, you've been through the ringer. I think that now that we're coming out on this other side and the meetings that we've had about ZoeLife, because pre-COVID, we were in that building and we were in the
Yeah.
middle of beta 3 when we had to close. So what are your goals with implementing ZoeLife now that we're on the outskirts?
Our goals are to get people back to activity in there. We want to get them working. We want to get them moving. We want to get them outdoors. We have, you know, as we've talked, we're planning something a little bit new with ZoeLife. We want to do a little bit of outdoor activity. We want to get people outside and moving, because being confined for a year, you know, is tough. It's tough.
Well, and it's just like Dr. Murray's had last week, the vitamin D element.
Absolutely.
And all about being outside and moving. That was
Fresh
his biggest
air and-
takeaway from
yes.
that.
Yeah,
Very
you're
important.
safer outside, you know,
absolutely.
in terms of the virus too.
Yeah.
So
And you know, like us, we're still coming to work every day. So we're breaking up that monotony of being locked up. But our people, our residents, they don't have that luxury, right? They're stuck in their rooms, and, you know, a lot of them have a roommate. So, like, oh, come on, scoot over, you know?
Yeah.
So we want to break that up. We want to implement some new activities. You know, Gary has some really cool things that he's going to start implementing over there, doing a little drum class, which is going to be really cool. And we just want to kind of incorporate all of this into ZoeLife back in Providence Place and get people active and moving. And a lot of our residents that are part of this, they are very excited to hear. They're hearing the rumblings, and we're talking to them about it, and they're getting very excited. Very
well,
excited.
and on that note of the drums, I mean, that was purchased from some of the Arizona tax credit dollars,
Yeah.
some of the equipment, and some of the equipment you guys are going to work with, or working with. So thank you to the residents
Yeah.
who donated
Right.
to that. I
Put it to
mean,
good use.
it
Yeah.
really is being used for purposes for our campus, for our
Yes,
residents.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Now, part of the element of being outside is you guys created kind of the walking path or walking
Yes.
circuit of your own, similar to kind of what we have on the IL side, right? So tell us about that.
Yeah,
in a
where's
smaller
that go?
scale. What we're going to do is we're going to make it around Providence Place, you know, stay in the general area so we're not veering off too far, staying safe still, right? And we're going to do it in small groups, but we're going to have them do kind of, you know, a lot of people go out and do the the 5Ks and the 20Ks. We're going to do like a 0.5K, you know. We're going to make it challenging. We're going to take down some times at the start and at the end. We're going to kind of make it a little bit competitive. But one thing we're going to do is we're going to make this so everybody can participate, right? If somebody is in a wheelchair and they want to participate, we're going to have an element to where somebody's going to volunteer to push them through the course so they can participate in that as well. You know, we'll encourage them to do some self-propelling and things like that, but we want everybody that is able and wants to be able to participate at any level.
And that's the model that ZoeLife is.
Absolutely.
You know, ZoeLife is never designed to be specific to one demographic that can play in all the sandboxes with it. It's the idea is no matter where you are in life and what, you know, restrictions you might have, you're able to play even a little bit and take part in a lecture and get your mind stimulated and do what you said on that walking path. And I think the camaraderie that we're going to build with your first beta 3s and those 8 to 10 residents that we're going to get back in the pool. We're going to get them eating a little bit together. I think that's gone so far on our IL side when we do those community luncheons and we have the tribe aspect, because you know we talk about in ZoeLife a lot is so much of that tribe mentality of these little groups that have each other's backs. And within the big tribe that's Glencroft, but these little mini tribes really go a long way.
They do.
And I think creating that culture in that building, that's a
be
big
great.
deal, and that's what you're spearheading.
Yes, and we have a couple of new residents that are in there, you know, that have moved over from the assisted living side. You know, it's time for them to have a higher level of care. And they were a little bit disappointed, you know, which we all would be, having to move into a higher level of care. But now that we're talking to them about this, they're very excited about it. Very excited about it.
So hopeful.
It is, yes.
So tell us, you've had some remodeling over in the building.
Yes.
Fourth floor. You've done some different, how has that been?
So we had the third floor that was redone. They made that into private rooms. It's pretty neat. I mean, it's beautiful. They just finished which is Joshua Tree. They just converted that into a behavioral unit. And they remodeled and refinished the entire room, and it's wonderful. It's beautiful. One thing they did in there that I love, and I wish I could steal away for the therapy side, is they put a different color of flooring and made a walking track. So it's a really nice floating wood floor, but they discolored the center of it, right, purposefully for a walking track, and it's just a really cool element in there.
How cool is that?
That's
really
great.
cool element.
You know, I keep leaning on Dr. Murray, but so many of his talking points in our lecture last week resonated with our residents, and it was, again, come back to move. You gotta move.
Whatever you can.
We all know that.
Yes.
But to hear it in context of, okay, you need your vitamin D levels checked, you need all this, yes, but the bottom line, move.
Absolutely. That's so important. So important,
Well,
it's so great what you do and your innovative ideas. We needed you for a lot of years, so
and
we're
you're back
glad
working
you're
out
here.
with us on our side.
Yeah.
We finally got the employee workouts
We
back.
saw you hobbling in, so
Which
it's
is very
weird for
exciting.
me tomorrow.
And your counterpoint, Jason over there is working out with you, and Christy's
Absolutely.
working out, and so it's so good to get some of that Providence Place action back into the fold.
Yeah, we missed you guys.
We're
And
excited.
It's hard to keep you guys isolated, but
It
it's
is.
for the safety of everybody. We had to do it
Yeah.
to keep you guys contained and whatnot. But
Absolutely.
man, we love everybody over there.
And you did such a good job, all of you. I mean,
Collectively,
kudos to
unbelievable.
Providence Place for putting those things, like you said, in place
Yes.
quickly
They were
and
quick.
keeping it. I mean, we haven't had cases on our campus for so long now.
It's been
it
great,
almost,
you know.
you forget it's happening.
I know.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
You know, they say it takes a village, and this was exactly that point in case, you know, real world. It took a village, and, you know, we're all tired and we want to move on and get on with life, but we've made it through this far, and we're going to continue to push through and drive. And
We're under a minute. My last question is, how do the residents over there love to use the virtual reality?
you know, the residents that have participated in that, they really like it. I have one guy who, he's actually paralyzed, but he loves doing the boxing. He can still move his arms, and he gets in there and he boxes and he smiles, you know, from ear to ear. We got another that loves doing the the virtual visit where she could type in her home address where she was a child, and boom, she's in front of that home.
How do you beat that?
It's just wonderful, you know, and the smiles that come on their faces and the excitement is just, it's unbeatable.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, Randy.
Great.
Thank
We
you.
thank you for
Absolutely.
everything you do, man. You're such a key part of this entire campus and that building. I mean, that building is a hard needle to move, but you're really helping do it.
Yeah, I appreciate
Yes,
that.
thank
Yeah.
you.